what does the business of being a creative look like for you? Run us through how you actually generate revenue.
Okay, so for us, we're in the knowledge economy, right? But sometimes you have to put knowledge into action. The main thing that we do is everything that it takes to help a business get seen and connect them to their customers. So that could be doing a jingle, that could be shooting a video, that could be writing a story, that could be, even just speaking to people on the street, right? But what we really try to understand is who are you, who is your competition, who are your customers, and how can we position you in a way where your customers want to choose you over your competition. So everything that entails is what we will do for you and charge you for it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Creative Money Podcast. They call me Tanky Tank. They call her Chidera.
I'll just let you have that one. All right, guys, this is the Creative Money Podcast, a podcast where we talk about money, but not in a boring fashion. We uncover the unconventional, innovative, and surprisingly smart ways to build money as a creative in the creative industry. And today we have a remarkable guest. His name is Leye Makanjuola. He is the CEO of Intense Group, a strategist, a growth driver, one who can make your brand pop. And if growth had a face, it would be he. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Chidera and Tanky Tank.
Yes, sir. I'm going to nickname you LY.
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 People call me LM though.
LM, yeah?
Yeah.
No, on this podcast, you LY.
All right, lie.
My man. How's it going, my brother?
All good, all good. Happy
Nice.
to be here.
Happy to have you here. All right. For people meeting you for the first time, who is Mr. Leye Makanjuola?
Leye Makanjuola is a value creator. I just create value. People will ask, or in the early days, like, what do I really do? What are my creative skills? I just say nothing, I just get other people that have the skills to create the value. Somebody is always looking for something that they're ready to pay for, or that'll solve a problem of theirs. So I'm a problem solver. So that's what it is.
Problem solver. I love that.
All right. So intense sounds very intense, if you know what I mean. So could you, in simple terms, break down the magic you create?
I mean, Intense is a group of companies. Okay. We started as a digital agency, and then we launched a company called Purple Stardust, which is a creative agency. We also have a company called Palette. It's a startup for marketing technology, which we're still building at the moment. But in terms of what we do, the digital agency, we basically leverage existing digital platforms, mostly, the social media platforms like Meta, Google, TikTok, email, to help our customers or our clients reach their own audiences, help them know about these businesses and connect them. Before now, right, most business or most advertising happened physically. So billboards, TV, radio, print, newspaper. But the world has changed so much in recent times because everybody is on their phone or computer. So we basically spend a lot of time on that digital real estate. So what we do at Intense Digital is learn about these platforms and basically understand how can we leverage these platforms to drive traffic to our customers, either websites, mobile apps, so that they eventually become, paying customers. And we also try to ensure that they retain those customers and that they're there with them for the longest time. But on the creative side, on the creative agency side, before you even get people to the platform, you have to catch their attention, right?
Okay.
And I mean, if you go on your phone, how are you using it? You're just scrolling, right? You're scrolling, waiting to see something that is worth stopping.
Intention.
You see, so that thing that is worth stopping is what we do at the creative agency. We need to be able to create a message that will speak directly to our clients, customers, so that when they see, they'll be like, oh, this is for me. Oh, I've wanted this. Oh, yeah, this is speaking exactly to me.
Okay.
So that's creative communications of understanding who the customer is, what their pain points are, and speaking to those pain points in a way where they will immediately stop and say, this is for me, I want this, is what we do at the creative agency Purple Stardust. And then at Palette, we're basically leveraging AI to help, understand content that performs well. When I say performs well, it just means, no two pieces of content are the same. So I could see one and I wouldn't like it, and I could see another one and it interests me, right? So Palette is supposed to understand the content that performs well and create more of it. Because at the end of the day, if you are pushing content that doesn't do well, you're going to be wasting a lot of money on ads, spending money pushing something that people don't want to see, right? But if you're pushing something that people like, so you spend less, more people will see it. So in a nutshell, everything that we do is meant to drive revenue growth and client retention for our customers.
Okay.
But there's a whole lot of moving parts.
So you're Mr. Attention Grabber.
Well, problem solver.
Problem solver.
But I have to grab your attention
Before
I
you solve the problem. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the business. That's the Mr. CEO. So for people seeing you for the first time, who is Mr. Leye Makanjuola?
Outside of the business, I mean, Leye is really a child at heart, even when I'm moving around, talking to staff or talking to stakeholders, it's still just a young boy, that is a dreamer, that is like, in my mind, I'm a boy, I'm a child, I love entertainment, I love things that make me laugh. I'm just very, easygoing. I'm an ideas guy, obviously. I think that I've been blessed with being able to connect the dots, right? There's no new ideas really, but, when you can connect several divergent ideas and make it into a new one, then you can create value, right? So I'm an ideas guy. So I try to stay on top of things. So if there's a movie that everybody's shouting about, I'm going to watch it because I want to know, what the fuss is all about. And I can definitely take something from there, to sell to you. I'm going to listen to the top 100 songs on Apple Music. I'm sort of a generalist, know a little bit about everything. And I'm able to use that information, to get a step closer to solving a problem every day. Yeah.
All right. Just to confirm, you started interns 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, 2015.
Okay. So what was the inspiration behind it, and how has it been evolving?
Okay. So before I started interns, I had a company called I Publicize Nigeria. I think that's where it really started.
I Publicize.
Yeah, I Publicize. So
I Publicize. Okay.
Publicize. So when I finished school, I studied economics for my first degree.
Okay.
Obviously, I was offered those kind of jobs. So I was working as an accounts coordinator in an oil and gas outsourcing company. So basically, what they did was they helped the real oil and gas companies like Mobil, Chevron, to hire contract staff so that they don't have to pay the full thing because they don't have to pay pensions and things like that. Right. So my job was just to compute their payroll because, it was a day rate thing. But probably 6 months into the job, I think I already knew that that was not something I wanted to do for a long time. And that even if I tried my hardest, I'll still be average, right? Because I don't really like abstract things. I like things that I can relate to in society, So that's why I struggled with abstract subjects in school, like further math, physics, because not like these subjects are not interesting. I just think that the way the educational system is set up, they don't teach you in a way where you can imagine yourself, or understand what the usefulness of those things are,
Sure.
right? So it's not practical. So my brain would just fall asleep because basically they're asking me to memorize something and give it back, right? So I already knew I couldn't, go far. Or even if I did go far, in 5 years I'll be
It
fed
wouldn't
up,
tickle you.
So I just thought about it, like, what do I really like to do, or what can I do like seamlessly?
Yeah.
And figured all I can do is talk, and I can write. All right. So I figured, what are the careers in that space? And marketing, communication, journalism are some of the things that you can do with that, right? So I started working for a magazine. They had a blog. I started to write for them. All of that was free, by the way.
Okay.
I also, enrolled for a master's marketing communications at Pan Atlantic University. Um, and I started this iPublicized like that. But basically, what it was that I'd seen on Twitter at the time, which was like 2011, right? I'd seen on Twitter at the time, people with just like 2,000 followers would just be like, oh, meet me at Sway Bar, and then the same guy would be like, oh, I have these bracelets for sale. And the same guy would be like, oh, I have puppies, Dobermans for sale. I'm like, you can't be the one, you can't be the one doing all these things. So I figured he was getting paid to do those things. And that was like the age of the early influence. I was like, I've caught you. I've caught you. So like 2,000 followers, I can't get that, So I looked online, I saw some guy that had 5,000 followers. Like, let me just work with this guy. So I messaged him, like, I have an opportunity for you, meet me at the Palms. So he met me there, where I'd agreed to use his page to start up something, but we decided against it because people already kind of knew him. So we started this new page from scratch, and we started to just create funny content. So the content was like debates. People would retweet us, we'll follow them, we'll ask them to follow back. And probably in like a few weeks, we got to 1,000 followers. And after maybe every 10 jokes that we'll post, we'll say that we promote businesses, brands, events. And in the first month, somebody paid us like 20K to, promote, which means we just tweet like a few times a day, I think it was like an online store, right? And that's what we did. And then from there, people will come and say, can you make my brand trend? And what will I do? I'm looking for the people that do the trends. How much is your trend? Oh, 20K, I give you 10. And then I charge them 30, oh, can you do a design for us? I look for designers, bring them together. Oh, can you do a website for us? I do that. And right, so I started looking at like these requests that they were asking, like, who are the people that do this thing on a professional level? I found out that it was digital marketing agencies. So I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. But I don't really like this name. If I'm going to get into like a big bank or corporate and say that our company is iPublicized Nigeria, I'm not going to be feeling this. I'm like, look, I need something,
Powerful.
yeah, something that sounds like global, right? So like, I'm going to use a one-word name, that is a real name or could be made up like Apple, Google. And for like weeks, nothing was coming. But then one day, I was sleeping. And I always say the story, but I'm going to put it out there again because I think it's important for your listeners. So at the time, I used to live with my sister, and she had a one-bedroom flat, so there was no space for me. I used to sleep on the floor in the living room. So just to give you a picture of my story, not to let you think that, oh, I had
Soft
some
life
money.
from day one.
There was no soft life. So I just woken up and then I just heard the name Intense. Then I just went online and said, does anybody have it? No one had it. And that was it. But I think that name did come because it is a reflection of myself, my lifestyle, and my values.
All right, so 10 years is like a huge feat, and still staying relevant in an economy, in a sector that is as saturated as the creative sector, is a big win. So, however, I'm sure there are like challenges and blissful moments. So I want you to walk us through the toughest, moments that you have experienced and how you overcame every single one of them.
I mean, there's so many tough moments, and they're tough moments till now. I think what really happens is that you just get stronger.
Okay.
So the things that I thought were tough in year one, when it happens, I'll just put my phone on silent and sleep now. So it's just like it would always be tough, but you just need to develop the skills to manage these challenges.
Okay.
Right. When I first started Intense in year one, I thought Nigerian companies, all of them had money. They'll say, "Oh, we want to do this." I'm like, "Yeah, well, the thing is 20 million. I won't hear from them again." That was when I knew that the Nigerian economy wasn't that great. Big name companies that I thought, yeah, they should be able to afford this. Even the ones that are interested, they were negotiating to the teeth.
Yeah.
So, and when we eventually got clients, I thought, right, we're in business. Come to find out that clients might not even pay you on time. There was a time when, the people that we were working for had not paid us, so I had ended up owing salaries for like 2 months. And then one of the clients said, yeah, we've paid you, check your account. So I saw the money there, but they paid with a check, so if you're familiar with checks, it's just there, but it hasn't cleared, right? So I told everyone, all my staff, you get paid in 2 days. And then the second day came, and guess what? The money just went back, boom, it bounced. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. And what lesson did I learn from there? You don't have money until you can spend that money. Like if you like looking at it in your account, you have to be able to withdraw it, touch it, and spend it. So that was one of the early challenges. Clients not paying, or hard negotiations, doing a lot of work, because also with the agency business, people want to see like your proposal, right? They want to see what you would do for them. And a lot of times you're doing a custom proposal for each prospect, which means I meet you now and, Chidera, you sell human hair. So I have to create a proposal specially for you. And then I send it, and then you don't respond to me anymore because it's too expensive, and I have to do 20 of that, coupled with my clients that I already work with. So, different things like that. There was a time when I got robbed. I wasn't backing up my data or my files. I lost all my files, all those proposals, insights, research. Several days where, I would be, my office was in Dolphin Estate at the time. So quick tip for you, I wanted to make sure that I had an Ikoyi address. And Dolphin, Dolphin was a good place, right? Okay, Ikoyi. The first year, people actually thought that we had been around for a long time. They were like, who are your directors? I'll just mention some of my cousins, and I chose the title CMO because I didn't want them to think that it was you that owns the company, you're driving yourself. Do you understand? So, there were many times where in traffic, my tank was on E. I had to wind down. I was just praying, like, how am I going to get home? And somehow that would be when the client would pay. Like, thank God. So definitely lots of challenges. Staff leaving, obviously. We were working out of this small co-working space. I started with 2 seats, and then as we were growing, moved into a four-man office. But then, who really wants to start their career, in that kind of business where it's just 3 of you, this is your boss, even though a lot of them didn't know that I was really struggling at the time, but still, everybody wanted to work in a bank or an oil company. So after training staff for several months, they'll be like, I'm out, adios. So yeah, and all those things still happen, by the way, apart from the fuel. Yeah, but
full tank now.
Yeah, there's just better ways to manage things now.
So before we started this interview, we were talking about choosing your hard. And, we said how everybody, to get to that limelight, some hard work has to have been put in. You understand? So you've spoken about the tough times and how you overcame them. Can you give us one or two milestones like those? Yeah, Daddy, I made it. Mama, I made it moments on this journey.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are a lot, but maybe the ones in recent times. So we were made premier partners for Google recently, and that what that means is that out of all the agencies in Nigeria, that we were, one of the top agencies that spend the most for our clients and that get the best results. And at the time, there were probably only four premier partners, in 2024. So that was a
Big
big
win.
thing. Also, when we launched our agency, Purple Stardust, um, so for context, I never worked in a creative agency, so most people that own creative agencies probably work in certain ones,
For
but I'm just an outsider. I just
mm,
connect dots. Now, like, look, we're gonna do this creative agency, hired a few people, and then we did a launch for ourselves. That was a campaign,
okay,
and then we won a pitcher award for that launch. So that really validated,
she was going into
myself, like, okay, we can do this. And pitcher is international,
mm,
right? So those were two milestones that I was quite proud of. For me, I feel like, not to trivialize things, but you can make money, right? But for the quality of work, when people recognize the quality of your work, when established bodies do that, it just lets you know that you're a true professional. So those are two milestone moments for me.
okay. So marketing is a big thing, and that industry is a very big space. What would you say are your the core the culture, the brand, intense group? What makes you stand out?
It's intensity, actually.
I like that.
So that's our philosophy. It's a way of life, right? And like you were saying, choose your heart. There's so many agencies that I, was watching in our early days that are not here anymore, that were doing better than us at the time, right? So intensity is really just about resilience. It's about not giving up, when things are hard, right? It's about grit. It's about seeing things through. It's about not expecting that, there'll be one day where you blow and you won't have to work again. Work is forever. You're going to work hard till the day you die. It's about enjoying the process. It's about excellence. It's about accountability. And accountability doesn't mean you're perfect. It means that when you make mistakes, you take responsibility. It means that, with your team, if there's a weak link, you help the person. So it's really about that philosophy, and it's about innovation as well, because we wouldn't be here if we were not always reinventing ourselves. When we started, our focus was social media management.
Mm,
You know, people would hardly pay for that today,
yeah.
all right? But now we're building apps with AI. We are um, shooting video commercials. We're doing conversion rate optimization. For us, we know it's not about the product or the service. It's about what does the customer want and how can we get it for them. So that lifestyle of intensity, which is actually open to everyone, is what has gotten us this far and will keep, taking us
Sure.
further for the next 10 years.
I love that intensity.
All right. So Intense Group has been on a journey and is still on a journey. So, and looking back, what would be some of the moments you could relive if you had the power to do so?
So let's say, are you talking about good or bad moments?
Both of them.
Hmm.
I mean, would you want to relive a bad moment?
Probably not, but you see, the bad moments teach you very important lessons,
Yeah.
better than the good
All
moments,
right. Walk us through two of them.
But I feel like there's so many. I'm not even sure, losing clients, that really hurts, because most clients for agencies pay you on a retainer basis.
Mm.
That's the best way to actually, ensure that you can predict your
What you're
income
gonna
and the
get?
health of your business.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you have a client that is with you on a retainer basis and you have a 1 year retainer. and maybe you have 3 of them. If one leaves, you're going to
You
feel
feel
it.
it.
You're going to feel it. So it could mean
Yeah.
that your monthly income, just the numbers are fictitious, right? It's 10 million, and then one pays you 3, one pays you 4, another pays you 3.
Okay.
If you lose the one that pays you 4, you're down from 10 million to 6
6
million,
million.
and maybe your operating expenses are like 6.5.
Okay.
Where do you go from there? So you now have to start figuring out, I might have to let let some underperforming staff go, or maybe I'll decide not to pay myself salary for 3 months or 6 months to see if things will change. So it's things like that. I think losing clients, were some of the hardest moments, and also losing very good staff, because at the end of the day, the people are our resource. So because we don't sell cars, we don't sell anything physical, it's people. And then we train these people to understand how to solve problems. But when that person leaves, the person is leaving with everything that you have taught them. And that also taught me how to systemize and create processes and have information, set, so that when somebody leaves, and the next person comes in, they're not starting from scratch,
Just
because
jumps right in.
I'm going to have to come back and show the person, this is how this works, this is how this works. So, some of our best staff leaving have been some of the, low periods for me, but it taught me that you need solid operations, good processes, good systems, good policies, so that when people come in, they can just open one Google Drive and see, this is how you do SEO, this is how you do email marketing, this is how you onboard a customer, this is how you do an exit interview for a customer. Things like that, have really helped. But I would say again, I feel like the hard times, or the bad moments, have been more impactful in helping us grow and knowing what to do, not what to do, than the good times. Because sometimes you can just get lucky. Because if you do things enough, if you do 10,000 tries, you probably get 10 or 100 correctly, and it might not mean that there was any technique to it. So yeah.
So is there a strategy now that you use to retain companies more?
Yeah, I mean, there's no one size fits all, but you have to understand that you're in the people's business, right? And apart from, when we generate results where it's quantifiable, there's also a very subjective, business where we create art. I can like it, but you don't like it at
Yeah.
all, and if you're the one paying, you're right. So I have to manage, your emotions. I have to basically understand my clients and what makes them happy, what makes them mad, what takes them off. And I always say to the account managers, who are like the client service representatives, your job is to make your client your friend, right? So even when the client is angry or whatever, right, when they're relating with you, they remember that you're actually friends first, and then they might actually call you and say, that thing is not good, I'm going to send you an email blasting you guys, right? That makes you feel better than you just getting the email, right? Or sometimes they might just be like, look, this is what we want, I ain't do it this way. But if you're not really friends with your clients, then, it's almost like they're setting a trap for you all the time. Let's see how they perform on this one. And they're just making you like jump through hoops. So that's the very first thing. You must be able to connect with your clients beyond the work. Must be able to understand them, when they're feeling down, or when they have like milestones. You must be able to celebrate with them, go out with them, because it's actually a partnership in the agency business. You can't succeed without your clients, right? Because they are the ones setting your exam questions. They'll be the ones to market as well, right? So you just have to be able to create, that kind of partnership or family, setup, right? And but of course, that is assuming that you're doing all of your work, well. That other half is just after you've done all your work. And you also have to be able to manage expectations, because if you're working with clients that are not seasoned or just don't have experience working with agencies, you're going to struggle. You have to define what success looks like before you start working. So say you want me to do this thing, all right, so what does success look like for you? They'll be like, okay, we want 10,000 website visits, we want 1 million impressions, and we want, 100 registrations. So that's what we're working towards. If you come back later and say, oh, why don't we have 100,000 followers? It wasn't part of the KPI. So once you have those, metrics of what success looks like, that would then be what you tunnel vision on, and every other thing is just secondary.
Mm. Oh.
Okay, so Intense Group still ventures into creative innovations.
Of course.
So after a decade of business and still in business, how do you guys maintain your stand on creativity as well as innovation?
Yeah, like I said, it's important to have your pulse on pop culture, news, and business. So, even from the early days, we always had TVs in the office, Netflix, YouTube. Back in the day in corporate environments, they were like, don't go on Facebook. Like, you need to go on all these platforms so you know what's happening. And that's what's going to like inform, your creative process, because you have so many ideas. You saw something in this movie, you saw something in this cartoon, you saw something in this documentary, you saw something in this ad, and you're able to bring everything together. And then in our organization, we actually have an innovation department. Their job is just to be trying new things. They have a budget. Like, oh, we've seen this new tool. Oh, you want VO3, you want Lovable, you want Cursor. They have like thousands of dollars a month, where they can test, new software, right? So that's how we're thinking, because obviously we're in the age of AI, and fun fact, agencies might not be around in the next 5 years. So we are even trying to disrupt ourselves. Like I said, it's really about value. It's not about what you call yourself or the product that you sell. It's about, do you have something that people need that is such a big problem that they're ready to pay for? The harder the problems that you solve, the better paid that you will be. So look for hard problems to solve. And that's why, what makes us different from other organizations is that we take on the responsibility of helping our clients actually make money. So what happens is that most advertising agencies, or just anybody in the integrated marketing communication industry, they're just going to do their work. Oh, we're going to do an activation. We'll bring a car, a truck, people will dance, we'll share things, and then they'll give you a report. But we are trying to show you how what we will do will end up bringing you new customers. And we'll say, this is how many customers, you got because of what we did. And as a matter of fact, we want to also know, how long those people will stay and how they can buy other things in the business, or how they can increase their transactions. So we take responsibility for commercial success. We want to make commercial impact. And that's what makes us almost indispensable. So if we are the only ones that do that, or one of the only ones, if you want to remove us from your system, you will notice our absence. And that's the value that we're talking about.
The way you've been talking, Boy, I'd like to see your invoice, though.
Invoice, care. We don't have money, man.
From-
There's FRS to IRS.
Then I can't find you.
we don't have any. I'm broke in advance.
But I like the passion. You're quite knowledgeable in that space, and I commend you, because you see you've carried on in a big space, and I mean I can imagine the exploits you're doing there. So well done to you, my man.
Thanks so much.
Chinos.
I mean, if you want any indicator, some of our clients are like the market leaders in their industry.
I mean, for you to say that you got like Google, the spend you're spending, so obviously you're doing some impact in that space.
It's not our money though.
Yeah, I mean, you're using it well though.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So you've been in this space for 10 years, plus the high publicized era.
Yeah.
A young person now trying to turn passion into money. What would you advise them?
Learn as much as you can. So, for me to really get into the business and be able to beat my chest that I knew what I was saying, I did a lot of free courses online at the time.
Mm,
God bless platforms like Coursera,
mm.
EDX. There were even scholarships. Like if you just say, let me not tell you what I told them. But yeah, like I got a lot of free courses. So I did marketing courses from schools like Wharton, Harvard, and you get certificates for this, right?
Yeah.
You could put it on your LinkedIn. So, you know, um, Boston, so it's like doing all those courses, and it's not just about doing them for getting the
For the
certificates.
swag, yeah.
It's about doing them for learning and then being able to apply. So there's a small secret that everybody can take. Sometimes you just need to be the first to learn something before everybody catches up, and then you charge people to either
With
teach
that
them
knowledge
these
you
things
have.
or put that knowledge to use. And that's what I did, with digital marketing and social media marketing at the time. It was still quite new. I mean, people were on Facebook, but in terms of using it for business, it
Wasn't a
wasn't.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, so I did a lot of courses on a platform called Hootsuite. Hootsuite was a social media management platform at the time. So I did all of their courses on how to use social media for business. I even started training, so I had a course where you could learn social media for business, and there was a lot of interest because there was just not a lot of people doing that.
Doing that then.
So for any young person out there, sounds cliche, but knowledge is power. Not just any knowledge, just look for knowledge in an industry where it's quite new, it's in demand, and now we're in the era of AI.
Mm.
I wish I could be as free as I was 10 years ago. I'll spend all my time learning about AI. Even though I do that now, so I have people in my business that have dedicated them. Go and learn this and tell me what you learned. Show me what we can do. Right. So, like I said, we're in the knowledge economy. Learn as much as you can. I keep telling my team, like, we're eternal students. We're gonna keep learning. The day that you feel like you're an expert is the day that you're going to start failing. So that's it.
All right, so now you fill us in on everything we should know about Intense Group. So, what is the next big thing for Intense Group in the next decade?
Right. So it's really technology. So every business is going to be a technology and media business.
Okay.
Any business that really wants to thrive.
Mm.
Right. AI has now made technology accessible to the regular person. I was telling you, like, I hated abstract things, and technology before now means if you are going to be funded, by a VC, they want to ensure that you have a co-founder that can code.
Mm.
But now that coding is being democratized with AI, because now what you need to do is tell AI in simple English what you want to build, and it will do all of the coding for you at the back end. Yes, you might still need some developers to help you then, bring things to life, but it has now made, software very accessible. So what will be happening is that software will not be special anymore. People will be able to build things to solve problems for themselves and others, right? So every company has to be a technology company, and that's where we want to be, because it also allows us to scale. So the traditional agency business model is not easily scalable because it's a people business. If we get a new client now that is big, we'll have to hire some new staff, we'll have to buy some new computers. We need more internet bandwidth. But when you have a technology, we have like a solution. People in Brazil can use it, people in Uganda can use it, people in China can use it, right? They don't have to be here, and we don't have to hire necessarily way more people, for us to have 1 million users. Maybe we need more cloud storage, but in terms of how you can scale and grow. Technology businesses are just a better business to do that. All right. So we're going to double down on technology. We already have palettes, which we're launching soon. But then we're also going to double down on media. Every company has to be a media company. Like I told you, media has been democratized, and everybody has to tell their story now, right? So when you're doing things, you have to document it. You have to tell people your story. You have to do your own marketing, So, but apart from that, what we're going to have is our own media assets. So think about, let me not say too much, right? But yeah, think about
You're
cable
the expo.
TV. Yeah, think about cable TV, right? And how you have different channels. You can have a food channel, a sports channel, entertainment. So in the same way, but this will be, you know, not on TV, strictly digital platforms, right? So we're going to have our own media assets, because what agencies really do is they get paid to help other companies build, creative assets, films, ads, and things like that. But they never really do anything for themselves. So when you lose a client, you're now, in jeopardy. But if you really think about it, it was you that created these things for the client. But
Why not do
because
it
you
for
don't want
yourself?
to do the work to go to the end user, you're just leaning on
The
they're
service
leaning
should be right.
only on the clients that you provide. So once they stop messing with you, you're done. All right. So since you have that skill, since you know what people want, why don't you create those products for yourself? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to create media assets, and we're going to create technologies that help people grow, that help businesses grow. Our core is growth, revenue growth. So everything that we do will still point, towards that. And then we intend to just expand into more markets. We recently entered into the UK. We want to expand our client base there. We also want to get into the biggest economy in the world, which is the US. So once you get into the US, there's disposable income, because a lot of times it's not even because you don't have a product or service, it's just because the businesses that you're talking to don't really have the disposable income for that. And when inflation keeps happening, sometimes, it's just not elastic. Like, yes, because things are more expensive doesn't mean the companies will want to pay you more. In fact, they want to pay you less.
Yes,
And it
yes.
just makes things harder. So sometimes, the business that you choose, the market that you choose to play in, can make all the difference between you and another company doing exactly the same thing. So we want to be in, markets where they have disposable income, mature markets where that will be able to adopt that technology, so media, technology, and we'll still be doing marketing for sure. It's our core. It's a combination. And yeah, we in terms of money, we hope to be a unicorn in 10 years.
Mr. Leye Makanjuola,
Yes, please.
aka LY.
My new name.
This has been an amazing session. I want to say some keywords that you've mentioned in this interview. You said you have to be adaptable.
For sure.
You have to that the hard times make you stronger.
Definitely.
You have to have intensity,
Number one.
resilience. Yeah, you have to always see things through.
Definitely.
You have to have, relationships matter, especially in the
Always.
kind of industry you're in. Look for hard problems to solve.
Definitely.
And one thing you said that was really deep was that you have an innovation,
Mindset.
yeah, and you have a part of your company that's
Dedicated.
to innovation, and that you also enable them to want to be innovative.
Yep.
That's something that is quite strong and very, very plausible. Like innovation is key. You have to and also enable the creative minds to want to be innovative.
Definitely.
So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go on to quick fire questions. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So let's go. Number 1, what company would you love to manage?
Apple.
Ooh. Favorite Nigerian meal?
Amala. Ewedu. Goat meat.
Favorite podcast host?
Favorite podcast host? That's
Okay,
a tough one.
are you
Where are you
whining
going
me?
for?
Are you whining
Where are you
me?
going
Tanky
for?
Tank.
Yes.
Tanky Tank, actually. Tanky Tank. Yeah, I almost dulled on that
It was
one.
dull, though. I mean, you are getting it right. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice one, my brother. So,
So we have a special gift for you.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much.
you for coming and gracing us with your present.
Creative money goodie
Thank
bag.
you.
It's money that is inside.
Yes.
You know,
Racks,
but by the time
racks.
you're seeing this, I'm already at home, safe. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Before we draw the curtains close, we want to say thank you for joining in, and you can follow us on all our social media platforms. Get Creative Money on Instagram and Creative Money Africa on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share our content across your own social media platforms. From me to you, keep experimenting, keep building, and keep getting creative with your money. See you soon.
From the CMP crew, if you want that intensity, stick with us. Let's go.
Emotional.